A word to the wise. We are an explicit podcast tackling content with adult themes as well as entering spoiler territory if you aren't caught up with us. This week, we will be talking about Queen Amid Ashes and through Howling Dark, generally speaking. No further than that, but Queen Amid Ashes. Hey there, this is Cross.
This is Josh.
I'm Erin.
And we are Words and Whiskey, a podcast for veteran and novice readers alike. We tackle fiction novels and love to talk about what we're drinking. You should think of us as your intoxicating weekly book club. We're glad to have you, and Erin.
I didn't know if I was supposed to talk.
Well, you put yourself in the script, so it's not like I was going to cut you off.
and like you have a mic. You should probably talk at some point. So.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
What up? It's good to have you back. You know,
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been a bit. The next time it will be longer because there's like 3 plus the book itself between here and there. So that's a whole thing.
Now I need to read on.
Yeah.
Go move on to Demon in White.
I mean, we won't get done with Demon in White until September. So there's that. So you've got plenty of time.
Well, I'm finishing Strength of the Few, and then I have Dungeon Crawler Crawl Book 8. And then I'll go to Demon in White. That's my schedule for
plenty of time. Well, not only that, but like it's Demon to the next novella, because you're our novella queen for this. You also have Kingdoms of Death and Ashes of Man, and then the novella. So you've got time. We're not going to be there until next year, I think. But
novella, Ella.
And
that's a wrap.
and that's all we needed, actually.
And that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah. So. To the point, today is Christopher Rockia. We're talking about the second novella, Queen Amid Ashes, as mentioned, and we're glad to have you, Erin, from Howler Pod. So, and other things.
There's that.
Just Howler Pod, mostly Howler.
Yes.
But yeah, I'd love to start off here before we get too far into it. We'll chat about vibes in a moment here, but let's talk about what we're drinking this evening. We'll start it with Josh, just because I'm so intrigued by your setup.
Yeah, I'm drinking.
Yeah.
I made, it's kind of like a lemon drop, but purple.
It's a nice shade.
Yeah, we had some friends over, check out the new apartment, and one of them is like the type of person that's like, it's not that she doesn't drink, it's just that she doesn't like to be able to taste that she's drinking when she drinks, you know? So I bought all the stuff to make some fruity cocktails, which I never make. This one is, the recipe I did calls for 2 ounces of vodka. This one's 3, you know? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? You know? And then 1 ounce of lemon juice. And then I made a wild berry simple. I muddled strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries together while making a simple syrup, and then strained that all out. So it's just like this nice wild berry simple. And there's half an ounce of that. And then you just do like a little bit of like a pour from high, the blue carousel, so it sinks to the bottom. So you get a little bit of a gradient. And then there's like a candied dehydrated orange in there.
Yummy.
And that's what I'm drinking. And
I've never had homemade simple syrup.
Oh.
Really? John doesn't make his
water
own?
Together.
Yeah.
No. We buy simple syrup or what's that, agave or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, like, but also simple's the easiest thing in the world to make. It's
I feel like
John's
it's easier than
squeezing like 1,000 lemons.
That's true.
Or limes.
Her husband makes excellent cocktails. I've had a couple.
Okay, yeah.
And so I was just kind of shocked by that. I was like, interesting. You know,
I feel like more times than not, I've made simple syrup at home because it was easier than going out to get more simple
and finding
syrup. You just boil water. Like that's all you have to do.
Boil water, add sugar. And or like fruits or whatever else you're looking at.
Yeah, whatever you want to
apparently
add.
A shit ton of fruit.
Yeah. It really it'll get you there. We've done some odd ones over the years.
It tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
Does it taste like a lemon drop?
I mean, I put too much vodka in it because it was like the bottle was almost empty. But yeah, it tastes generally like a berry lemon drop thing.
Oh, yummy. Anytime I order a shot, I do a lemon drop. because they're
Oh
yummy.
yeah, so it tastes like
Tasty.
if you've ever gotten like not a lemon drop shot, but a lemon drop martini, but
like sugary.
but on a busy night at a gay bar, you know.
Okay.
So it's mostly vodka.
Like they run out of the mix and they're like, all right, just more
Just
vodka.
vodka.
Exactly.
Normally, busy night at a gay bar, all I can get is a beer because they're not looking at me.
Oh
So,
yeah, you know.
just one beer, please.
Happy Pride.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes, happy Pride
That's
Month.
what was. I made this because of Pride Month
Yes,
And
that's-
Gemini season for all you
and Gemini season.
crazies out
I'll
there.
celebrate one of these things.
Hopefully, Pride
Face
Month.
motherfuckers.
Josh, is that a shot next to that, or is that water?
Okay, yeah, that is also because I was just trying to get rid of the bottle. So
Well, I've
I'm
got a
not gonna
little
shoot it.
shot. No, you should do
because
it.
it's a little bit more than a shot.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'll take a shot of my water.
Yeah, take a shot of your water.
It's a great call.
Well,
Wow.
just as a bookend, since I'm sure Cross has a cocktail, I'll say I tried really hard and I got this Modelo Oro, which Oro means gold. It's a light beer. And I got it for free at a golf tournament and I
Yeah.
stole it.
Hey, look, the only
You know?
the best beer is a free beer, and the only thing better
threw
than
a
a free
couple
beer
in
is
my
a
car when I
stolen
left.
beer. It is. Yeah.
Put them in my pockets.
Is-
That's all. And water.
should well, we should hear about Cross's drink, and then I guess we didn't do a devil's cut, so we should just do a real quick segment on everybody has to tell a story of a time they stole
Oh, sure.
beers.
Love it.
Yeah.
I have a Negroni because whenever Erin shows up, generally try to make a Negroni because we were Negroni sisters.
We were Negroni sisters.
Yeah, and you
but I
let me
haven't been making. We don't.
Hey, like a Modelo on the Negroni.
It's
It's all
okay.
the same.
I'll accept
We don't have. We have gin and Campari, but the vermouth goes bad, so we. You
Mhm.
know, I need to refresh.
What's interesting, so I actually didn't have vermouth, but I did have wine that I'd been using to cook, a nicer white wine, frankly, but we opened it and then like didn't drink it for a week or two. So it's like, all right, this is cooking wine now.
Oh, you went
and-
white wine with it.
Well, yeah. So I went white wine, but then I added just a smidge of allspice dram. And by a smidge, I mean like a
okay.
1/10 of an ounce. This is a double. So just enough that
Yeah.
it didn't dilute anything, but it still has some of those herbaceous
Because
notes.
sweet vermouth.
It's
Yeah.
pretty much the
So no
same.
vermouth.
Yeah. So no vermouth, but
Nice.
again, this is a double. So the 1-to-1-to-1 ratio, except for
Yeah.
with the white wine, I only did 1 ounce as opposed to 1.5, which is generally how I make it. And then I just did just that splash, basically like a bar spoon of allspice dram.
So you're drinking old cooking wine.
Well, it's 2 weeks old. It's not that old. It's old wine technically, but it's not that old. Honestly, it'd be fine if it were vermouth, like because vermouth is in
Yeah.
the fridge for like 45 days ish. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that,
Nice.
and they also don't refrigerate vermouth, and it drives me.
Well, no,
crazy.
we yeah.
Please refrigerate
Maybe-
your vermouth. Also, Punt de Mas lasts just a little longer.
Mm.
Fun fact. It tastes
And
a little
it's
different, but
the same as vermouth.
I mean, yeah, it's a
Teach me
very specific type of Italian vermouth, but it is a little bit more alcoholic, so it just kind of like switches itself over, and it's got a little bit more of like the herbaceousness, but it's not as traditional of a vermouth. I like Punt de Mas a lot for a lot of things because it just like it's a little richer, I guess. But, yeah.
Nice.
That's
I'm gonna
fair.
Try it.
I go.
Do I have to go to Italy?
It's or Bevmo.
No, but you should. Yeah.
I'm here for your vermouth.
Okay, so a time we've stolen a beer was the question.
Yeah,
Josh, do you have a specific story that you want to start? Well,
I have a few. I don't
Yeah.
know. I could pick one. I'll see what you guys say.
I've got a story of a friend stealing a beer that just sits with my soul. I don't know how else to explain it, but I witnessed the whole thing go down. And I was like, okay, all right. I'll tell it real quick, just for the sake of it, since it's a better story than one that I could muster myself. And I have stolen plenty of beers here and there, but
We all steal a beer every time.
the one that I can think of is my buddy and I and my brother were out playing pool, and friend gets really drunk, and we're in the process of leaving. We've like checked out and everything else, and this waitress comes by, big pool hall, with a basket of chicken tenders and drops it off next to this guy. Guy gets up and goes to the bathroom. Friend grabs a chicken tender off of the plate, pockets it, and walks out with the guy's beer. Pocketed the chicken tender and grabbed the guy's beer and just walked away. I was like, and then later, and I didn't notice the chicken tender thing. We just noticed the beer thing. And then we're in the parking lot a little bit later, and he's like, "Hey, does anybody want a chicken tender?" He's just pulling it out of his pocket. I'm like, "I don't want a pocket chicken tender, dude."
This
do.
friend sounds like a serial killer.
Yeah. No, this friend sounds like he's going places. Like this is going to be
I don't know.
the first emperor of what's the name of the empire in this?
Yeah. Oh man, it kills me to this day. But yeah. Anyway, that's
Did the guy like come in and did you see him come back?
Yes. So he came back. So our buddy had walked out a little bit, and Bing and my brother was waiting to close out his tab still. And the guy came back, and he was dating one of the women and was like, "Are you fucking with me?" And was like, got super mad at her. And because like there was food missing from his plate, the beer was gone. And he's like, "Did you take like the new beer that you just got? Like what?" And he was like, not like mad at her, but super confused.
And she's like, "I didn't do anything."
He's like, "I just thought you didn't eat the," and he was like, "No."
And you're just straight faced.
Yeah. Big and I were like, "How do we gotta keep it together.
We gotta go."
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, I'll never
Can't do that anymore. Someone will shoot you.
It's true. We're also in North Carolina, so could have gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm from Fresno. Anytime you steal a chicken wing there, you might get shot. So it's fine. On my brother's bachelor party was probably one of the best beer stealing stories because we were sitting on like the back patio of a bar, and someone came out and like unlocked and opened the storage fridge, like the big walk-in cooler. They took a bunch of beers out and then they just left it open. And then it was a bar, but like where you're sat at a table and you have a server, and there was food and stuff. And we wanted to close out our tab, and it just took forever for anyone to actually come back and check on us. So we tried to go in at the bar and close out, and they're like, "You're at a table?" And we were like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You got to close out with your server." And we're like, "Okay." So we went back out and we sat there, and we were out there for like 45 minutes wanting to close out. And at a certain point, we're like, "All right, fuck it." So we just grabbed 4 cases of beer out of the lock-in and then left. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then like, cause we were already pretty drunk at that point. But then at a certain point, we're like walking down the streets of Slow, just carrying cases of stolen beer. And then we like panicked. We're like, "Oh shit, we gotta get rid of this fucking beer." So we just gave it all to a homeless guy. And then
perfect.
Yeah, we kept like a couple cans. It was fun. Yeah.
Nice.
And you didn't get arrested?
Nope. I did brown out. And then there were videos of me the next day playing drums with a jazz band.
All those beers?
Like a jazz funk fusion
like on
jam
stage?
band. Yeah. Yeah, there was just like a weird college jazz funk band, and I'm a drummer, and I guess at some point I was like,
okay.
"Yeah, I could do that."
I didn't know you were a drummer.
Yeah.
It's just like you just walked out.
I don't know what happened.
They just let you play?
No, I remember seeing them, and then like I feel like I can kind of remember like going up on stage, but I don't remember actually playing. I thought like I went up there and like talked for a second, and apparently there were videos of me just fucking jamming, and I was like, "Damn, I've never drummed like that in my life. That's crazy."
Nice.
Yeah, that's my beer. That's one of my beer stealing stories.
I'm
you
not
talk
gonna
about
lie.
Queen Amid Ashes, or
I'm pretty sure I've never stolen anything in my life. Like
That's none of that beer. Yeah.
This beer I was like at the tent for my
dude, you got to get those numbers up.
So it was like the beer was from my work. Anyways, no,
the only
John,
ethical
John
consumption
does the
under
stealing.
capitalism is theft.
Yeah. I need to get my stealing up. I'm too afraid of being caught, and that I would be mortified.
I do think that the first time that I hung out with John, for everyone, Erin.
Did he steal something?
So we were at the bar that we all like met at, and met Ben for the first time in person as well. PJ and my friend Tim, and we definitely. I think John got away with not paying for one of his beers because like the whole thing was off. In addition, he smoked a little bit of weed, and then like there was a whole thing, whole conundrum where like it wafted in, and the waiter came around and was like, "Were you guys smoking weed?" And John just went, "No." It was just like so inarguable. And like she came back later and was like, "You guys were smoking weed," and she was like, "Absolutely." He was like, "Absolutely not. What are you saying?" And like just totally like
I can't do that.
Incredible.
Sounds like he's a bad man. I like it.
No, we've gotten kicked off many a patio. So.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to steal a little bit more, not a lot. Don't be weird about it, but little cute glasses at restaurants, got to steal those boys.
I don't know.
Christmas trees, never pay for one again. Wreaths also. Oh man. If you ever go to a Save Mart or a Ralph's or whatever it's called, wherever you're from, because they have different names no matter what city you're in.
Sure.
Could be a Kroger or something like that. I don't know.
Hy-Vee, Dylan.
Yeah. In Texas, they probably call them like a yeehaw. I don't know, man. But the grocery store chain that they all have the.
So same with pumpkins. You just walk up and get your Halloween pumpkin.
Yeah, you don't do it at like a Christmas tree farm or a pumpkin patch. You do it at like the grocery stores where they set it up in the parking lot, because their system is always just like, you go pick the tree you want and there's no one out there. And then you take the little tag off the tree and you go inside and then you pay for it. And then you come outside and then you load the tree into your own car. So you can just take the tag off the tree, walk inside, buy a Slim Jim, walk back out and load the tree into your car. And nobody's going to think anything of it.
Have you done this before?
No.
Like 3 years in a row back whenever I lived in Fresno. Yeah. I haven't had a real Christmas tree in a while. But yeah.
This podcast is very incriminating.
A friend of ours who did that with us on accident, or did that on accident, and that's how we all figured out that you could do that. Because she thought her boyfriend paid for it.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't. And she started freaking out. She's like, the cops are going to find me, and they pulled over, and she started scraping off her like college sticker that was like identifying on her car. She's like, they're gonna know it's a Fresno State sticker on a red Kia Soul.
For a $30 tree, probably.
Yeah, I'm like, nobody cares. The teenagers at the grocery store are not gonna hunt you down.
Absolutely true. I do that with windshield washer fluid because it's always just out there. You know, you just grab it at like every gas station I've never done that before. But my car could tell you exactly that because it's out of windshield washer fluid, actually. Anyway, cool. With that, let's talk about Queen Amid Ashes. Let's talk about this little novella. I'm super excited to have this conversation. I came to a couple of conclusions in this reread that I did today. I've actually now read this novel the most of anything that I've read in this series. I've read it 5 times.
Same. I read it twice.
Yeah, fair enough. And that is not indicative of quality, but let's chat about it a little bit.
So I read it twice because Cross told me to read it. And then I read it back in December, and then he told me we were going to do this. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I need to read that book. And then I read it again. And right when it started, I was like, wait, I already know all of this. And sure enough, I had already read it. And it takes like, I pulled weeds one day, and that was the whole book. Mm-hmm. It took like what? How long is it? Like 3 hours?
It's 4 hours unsped up. If you do any speed up, it's like 3. You know,
okay, yeah, with speed up. Yeah. Did some weed pulling. Anyways, Josh, how many times have you read it?
1.5. But, I get the gist.
You weren't pulling weeds?
I was something with weeds. No, I was super sober, actually driving to and from work, like a responsible adult.
Not stealing.
Yeah. I zero theft, just working for society, for the saving the children, actually.
Perfect.
I work in a very important pediatrics field. It's called clerical work at a pediatrics office. But
I don't know what you do. I didn't know you were a drummer. Now I was like, do you save the children?
I make appointments, I route faxes, and I get yelled at by doctors.
Love it. Love that for you.
Yeah.
That's a good job.
But yeah, I read it the once, and I tried to make it through the second time, and then my life got super busy because I was like, I think we might move in June or July. And then we were like, no, we should look to move in like October. And then we toured an apartment, and then we're like, oh, we're moving in May. And then that was like May. So,
And then that's been this month. Yeah.
yeah, that's been this month. We were like, should we tour the apartments so we kind of know which ones we're looking for whenever we move in October? And then we toured it. And we went, we want that one. And they were like, you can have it. And we were like, okay.
That's awesome. Well, it looks great. If you're not watching, it's all set up.
It's all set up in this exact square. Notice whenever I had my wife move the camera to show you our sick ass view, she never pointed it that way. You know?
Right.
But yeah, it's good. I liked the story. I did it the 1.5. I was meant to do it 2, but at the end of the day, no amount of stealing any of us have done is worse than what Lady Malian did, or whatever her name is.
Yep.
So
Yeah, she's a bitch.
She
a bitch, dude.
sucks. She sucks.
She's like, what genocide? You know?
And she's like, look at my tit.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah, please.
Hey, did you kill all your people? No.
You can have me. It's like,
Oh my God,
okay,
why can't I think of her name? The Parks and Rec, John Ralphio's sister.
Oh yeah,
the actor
Daddy
who plays her.
Money.
What's her name? What's her real name? I can't
Money,
think of it.
please.
Oh,
Money, please. That's who should play Lady Guitar Malian in the live action.
It's a great idea.
Lisa Saperstein is the name of the
Oh,
actress.
geez.
Yeah.
But
that name wasn't in my head.
yeah, but now
Yeah.
I like put the face to name and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I know exactly
John
what you're talking
Ralphio's
about.
sister, much more
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
descriptive.
Right.
John Ralphio's sister should play Guitar Malian.
yeah.
Fan cast.
Definitely.
She's supposed to be like, genetically engineered to be
just
beautiful
the
and young.
absolute Athena, but
Yeah.
hey, you know what? I'm more into personalities, so this works out.
Erin, I know you haven't read this. I just want to pitch this to Josh. This is not Demon in White. This is a short story that we read called Demons of RA. Which do you prefer
Yes.
of the stories that are sort of like
Ooh.
early Hadrian stories?
That's a good question. I think that this is a stronger structure to a story. This has like an actual kind of arc. Demons of RA is just like stuff happens, and I like it. But,
Man,
like,
I disagree, actually. I get where you're coming from. I think the reason that this short story compared to the other two, or this novella compared to the other two, doesn't sit with me quite as strongly, Erin and I had talked about this a little bit within Lesser Devil, is in part because I think that it lacks a promise. Like the initial part of the story, like you don't know where this is going. It's sort of meandering. It's cool. Like everything that happens is cool and excellent. We do get some good payoffs, but I don't know what we're doing here necessarily in the beginning.
it feels so much like a quintessential perfect, like, the filler episodes of TV back when they were 24 episodes?
Yes, it
that
totally
aren't
is.
quite filler. Like it's filler, but it's not skippable filler.
Mhm.
That's what this feels like. Whereas
Scrubs
Demons of RA
sing-along
isn't even like, yes. Yeah, this feels like one of those Supernatural episodes where like you have to watch it because they do technically get a call from dad at the end. But like,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's interesting. I like what this. I actually liked this short story a lot, and it's interesting that
I
you
did
like
too, for the record.
But I think that it does a lot more than Demons of RA in the same. It exists in the same situation, which is kind of between Howling Dark and Demon in White.
Mhm.
And to me, it does more to set up the new Hadrian.
Sure.
And also there's, I mean, Demons of RA is sick as hell, but Demons of RA is like all of the like Arnold Schwarzenegger 80s action things that were going on
It's
in
an
Lesser
episode
Devil.
of TV. Yeah, right.
Whereas this is like all the other stuff that was going on in Lesser Devil, and
Mhm.
Lesser Devil's better than both of these because it has both of those things. But this is a solid episode of like a mid-thousands sci-fi show, and I like that about it because I watched a lot of those. This feels nostalgic to me. Like Demons of RA was cool, but this feels nostalgic to me.
This is like an episode of The Mandalorian, where there's a full
Yeah.
arc and it
Great call.
ends.
Yeah.
And the characters in it you never
yeah.
see again.
Yeah, if I try and think of this too much within like the scope of Suneater, I'm like it's kind of weird. It doesn't quite hit in the same ways that you might expect. But if I think of this as just like a classic sci-fi one-off, like it's a perfect like singular world in a KOTOR game.
Yeah.
You know, like Knights of the Old Republic. You drop into this one world, you got to find the map, and then you end up in a weird political situation where at the end you have to be like, oh, she's hot, but she killed all her people. What do I do? And then you have like three options,
execute her?
Yeah, execute her, turn her in, kiss her. Like, and then like Valka's standing right there, and it's like Valka will remember that. And which there's
She's
no
your
will
concubine.
remember that in Knights of the Old Republic. I know that's a Baldur's Gate thing. Don't come at me. I know my RPGs.
It's Baldur's Gate and it's fucking Fallout, buddy. Anyway.
It's a bunch of things, but like
yeah.
I'm just saying I know that there's no blank will remember that. And
Aaron, if I don't call him
That's
out,
beautiful.
everyone else will. And so if
No,
I
I'm
do
sorry.
it now.
I was laughing because he's talking with his hands, but he's holding a martini. It's very scary because it's sloshing like so near the sides.
that's the whole point of a martini glass.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
horrifying. I hate martini
Danger.
glasses. Yeah.
I've definitely spilled those on people.
Aaron, what'd you think on the whole?
It's fine. It's cute. It's short.
This is a very funny story to ask Erin what she thought on the whole, because there's a hole in this story that's really important.
Very, very true.
I'm like,
mean the
we're
one-
already talking about the pit? Oh my God.
Okay, the pit of despair.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that was scary. No, this was, I don't know. It was like a short horror episode with scary Cielson being monsters and Hadrian being like, but I thought we could be friends still.
A little bit, yeah.
Always brings it back.
Yeah, and then right, it is like a one-off episode, and I'm not sure if it adds to the world as a whole, but maybe, getting extra Hadrian exploits in there might be good. I haven't read Demon in White yet, so I can't speak to it, but
yeah, I do think, from having read Demon in White and everything else that comes, I do think that this tees up the new era of like the way that the story changes after Howling Dark very well. I won't get into it any more than that, but one of the things that I really appreciate in post looking at this is I love the sort of way that we get more of the Red Company. This is like sort of, this is the first that we really kind of even get to know Krim a little bit as a character. Like he exists in the background of Howling Dark, but in here, he and Polino kind of take the fore a little bit more in like doing various things.
In this even, there's like Polino's mentioned, and it's just like, Polino, like you don't have to say anything extra, but then whenever Hadrian mentions Krim in this story at the beginning is like, who is one of the Myrmidons that came with me, like actually takes the time to remind you who Krim is, because that's how little Krim we've gotten up to this point. So,
and also good for people like me who read different books in between.
Honestly, I do think that there's something to be said about Rocchio, like writing style, I think is much more approachable than say a like a late Sanderson in like Rhythm of War. Well, he does a pretty good job of reminding people. There are a number of authors of whom I don't think do a very good job of reminding people in case you aren't binging things back to back to back. And I do think Rocchio is pretty solid on that front, even with time skips and things like that.
One of the major ways that actually got my wife to read some of the books that I really wanted her to, mainly Red Rising at this point, is she was like really daunted by like the world and everything whenever she started reading it. She's like, I can't remember all this. I'm like, you don't have to, just keep reading, and when it's important, he'll remind you.
Yeah. And there's no
I
complex magic system that Brandon will explain for 14 pages.
Yeah, no, I think Brandon Sanderson does remind you of things. He just reminds you of things from different books and different series, and maybe even not even things he wrote, and then he'll just remind you of things he hasn't actually told you about. You're just like, I don't know what I need to know from what you're reminding me about.
Yeah, your tiny little noggin. But Rocchio does a really good job of like reminding us of the characters, right? And being like, oh, by the way, Krim is a Norman from the same company that Octavia was in, and maybe an assassin, which is like a
Krim was a Mormon.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the last book was all Catholic, so these could be the Mormons.
Yeah. Krim just shows up with his perfect orthodontistry and his
He's got a name
well-pressed
tag.
button down.
Elder Krim.
Elder Krim for sure. I really enjoy. I think that's the part of the story that I really enjoy. I think that like Rakkio's character work is on display here, even with Malian being sort of like a Conan-esque like woman in a lot of ways, being like, my tit, please don't look any further than
She does not say please don't look at me further. She says please look at me further.
please don't look into me further.
Else.
Yeah, then it's
into me further.
Right.
Yeah, don't look into me, look at me.
Yeah, right. Stare at my painting. I do want to say one of the notes that I have to just overall in the story is the re-edit of the novella is actually so much better than the current state of it. What you guys listened to is the original draft and the original novel, like after it had come out.
Oh, interesting.
The novella.
Okay.
And since the re-edit that he did both for the digital version and for the like published deluxe editions a couple of years ago, there's a lot of cleaning up that happens in the prose department and a lot of like better writing and prose. So like I can't even be critical of the prose listening to it. It sounds like a good Suneater story, maybe a little undercooked in some ways.
I was going to say there were some prosaic moments that threw me off a little bit in this, but I didn't read too far into them because I'm like, it's a novella from forever ago. Like, is the story good? But
exactly. He nailed it on the re-edit though. He cut out some of the fluff. He added a little bit of like things that are a little bit more juicy and tangible. There's a whole like segment in the audiobook that you guys might remember, and this is kind of getting into the Cielson section, and we'll talk a little bit more about the chunks here in just a second. But he says something about like humans versus beasts, and that's sort of like the audiobook way of doing it. And instead he wrote something completely different. He chunked that out. He's like, that's like a little too rote and like not very apt for what I was going for. And he traded out for something that I think actually speaks more to what he wanted to like compare the Cielson humanity to.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I do find that in Empire of Silence, there's actually like a number of times, and I can't like pull one out of my ass right now, but like there's a bunch of times where it's that prosaic thing where you use the same word 2 sentences apart and it feels weird.
Yeah.
A lot in Empire of Silence, and it's barely in Howling Dark. Like you can tell there's like such an improvement in kind of like self-reflecting and like how these sentences flow out loud and stuff. I felt a lot of those in Queen Amid Ashes, where like you're kind of listening and you're like in the story, and then it's like, and that's what
and that's what a tiger does, and that's what a tiger does, like a paragraph later. And that's what a tiger does 3 paragraphs later.
Or it's not even just like that's what a tiger does. It's like she said standing, and she twisted her hair moving forward standing, and you're like, she already did the standing. Like it's little things. But like,
and it's important to note
those
that this is self-published. That the novellas are all self-published. So
really?
And, to me, what it reads like is like he did the thing authors do, where they wrote a good story and they're like, well, and then let's clean it up. And Empire of Silence, they were like, yeah, let's clean it up, and they gave him just the pass because it's a first book. And then on Howling Dark, they were like, let's clean it up, and they like worked on it together, and they made a fucking fantastic book. And then these are just self-published, so they sound about like Howling Dark, which is very fucking, or not Howling Dark, Empire of Silence, which is very good. Like I couldn't do it, but but those little things jump out. So I'd be really curious to read the updated version.
And anyone who's read this on Kindle or otherwise, like it's the updated text now. So the EPUBs and the physical books are all updated. So
you didn't tell me that before I listened to it twice.
Well, no, you couldn't have known. And also I thought that you were just going to listen to it given, the way that you generally read, right? You mostly listen. Yeah.
And the Braille version's not out yet, and I'm blind, so I gotta wait for that. Yeah. Another thing you didn't know about me. That's why I'm looking up here in this space.
And you can't see her
legal reasons
in the reflection on the thing behind me if I wave my hands around like this.
Which is even more impressive with me with the martini glass talking with my hands and not spilling. I can't even see it.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
guessing.
Great.
That's funny.
I can see, by the way, just for legal reasons on this podcast.
Legal reasons.
Okay, to get into the story a little bit. First off here, Hadrian versus Howling Dark. Hadrian is obviously very different, as we consider this to be sort of the first quest that he was ever put on after he's knighted by the
As
Emperor.
Jesus.
Yeah, as Jesus. Resurrected.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it. That was the thought. That was it.
As Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Jesus, Hadrian, Jesus.
They shake hands in the Howling Dark.
I just mean because he's resurrected.
Right. No, totally. It's interesting to be like set with this sort of like soldier's mindset. If we compare this to like Howling Dark, it's such a different mood where he's like exploratory and curious, and this is, I'm here to do a fucking job. Like it's a very
I'm here to kill these
yeah.
seals, and I hate them now.
I had this thought in Howling Dark, and I think I might have expressed it in the episode, but I don't know if I expressed it like exactly. I think I might have said, "Oh, it's like," but it's very directly, specifically. If okay, have we all watched Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Okay, the first episode of Breaking Bad I ever saw was like in season 5, 6. I don't.
The end of the last season? Right? Yeah, 5. Yeah.
I think it was like the premiere of the last season.
Oh wow!
Because I was at band practice, and
playing drums.
Or yes, drums. Even the bassist / singer was really into Breaking Bad, and none of us watched it. But it was like, we gotta fucking stop. The episode's on.
Granted,
and we just
was that episode.
Watched it, and I was like, this Heisenberg dude. Whoa, what a fucking badass, evil man. And I was like, I gotta go watch this show. And I went back and I started watching it. I was like, oh my God, who is this? What?
Dorky teacher.
It was like actually hard for me to get into Breaking Bad because I didn't like experience the lead up. I just like thought I was watching like the sickest fucking crime show. And then I got there and I was like, oh no, that's not what I thought this show was. And then eventually I came to love it. And great buildup. I feel like Hadrian had that moment whenever he died. He like looked at Heisenberg him and went, yeah, I'm gonna beat that. So like that's, I feel like all of Hadrian just being like military bro, ready to go, yeah, let's do it, just comes down to he saw like super cool Hadrian from maybe the future whenever he died, and now
he's trying to be tough, cool Hadrian.
Yeah, he was like, Simeon the Red, that guy's a bitch compared to future me. So yeah. And now he's just like, it's one of the best ways to do like a huge character shift. It never quite made sense with Anakin, you know, like they make it kind of make sense. But with Hadrian, they're like, no, you saw a future version of yourself that's cooler than anything you've ever seen. Did you say no? They never made it make sense?
No, there were other reasons.
There were other reasons that didn't make sense, like casting and directing.
Yeah, or like maybe like you know, just dying out of like regret or whatever the hell that Padme dies from. Yeah. Anyway,
it's not even the weirdest thing Star Wars does.
Not even the weirdest thing. Not even close to the weirdest thing.
Like Jar Jar Binks.
That's in like the top 10 maybe. Like Babu Freak is way weirder.
I think that Jar Jar Binks is his voice is
the problem.
He's the third most annoying, concerning, racist alien in episode 1.
In episode 1. That's a good call out.
Third most. Yeah.
So, you know, let's give Jar Jar a break.
Yeah, Boss Nass is pretty bad. You're right.
Boss Nass, and then the worst thing is the aliens that are, I forget their names, but they're like the Viceroy.
The Viceroys, yeah.
The Viceroy filmed all their scenes thinking it would all be in an alien language. And then they just redid it in post to just be bad, like, and that's what I say, Japanese accents. Like, it's so rough. And nobody knew that was going to be the case. The voice actors probably showed up who did all the alien languages and were like, here I go. And then nope. that was alien. There. They got Darth Vader like in the original series.
Are there viceroys in this book, or is that in the current book I'm reading? There's also viceroys somewhere else in some world that I'm reading.
Yeah, just baronies in this one.
Yeah. I should also mention that in Star Wars, you know, they did that to the original Darth Vader. He did not know that it would not be his voice. And then he showed up and he's like, why do I sound so hot and black? And that's just how it go.
Nice.
Yeah, William Shaw, right? I think, or something like that.
And
yeah.
it was still visually Darth Vader at the end. But,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we're talking about Suneater.
yeah, we adventured to Thagura, and we're here this large planet. It's noted
Thick Aura.
And I was
Thick Aura. Is her planet Thick Aura?
I'm gonna punch you all in the lips.
Well, we traveled a planet Thick Aura, where we made.
There are 400 million folks apparently that were on this planet that we get kind of the census idea from. Although interestingly, I do think the audiobook actually says 40 million, and then later says 223 were surveyed. I was trying to find it in the book here before we started. I will try to find it a little bit later when it comes up again. But I'm curious if it actually is 500 million, because that feels more right for a planet, right? Not 40 million.
Planet. I mean, it's not like a good planet.
We don't know how big it is.
That's true.
It could be a little guy.
Is it like is it Pluto
it could be
situation?
A moon, you know?
What's Pluto, like California?
Poor Pluto.
Poor Pluto. Yeah,
inhabitably.
This gets back to my Phobos thing, where like Phobos is technically the size of like New York City area if you rolled it into a moon. Like that. Mars's moon is literally just New York City rolled into a ball.
Which, if you've ever been in New York City long enough, it starts to feel kind of like a sphere.
You
just keep rolling around.
Yeah, you just keep rolling around everywhere in the subway. Really, I love all the character work again here that's done. Anything else on Soldier Hadrian before we get into the Cielson?
It's a weird shift, but it's a shift that makes sense, and I think it's cool and upsetting. It's like your friend that became a cop, but he's good at it, and you're like, oh, fuck.
I like how, because I'm interested mostly in the love story, they aged Hadrian up.
Mm-hmm. Closer to Valka. True. Yeah, they keep Valka on ice, and they keep letting Hadrian age.
You know, it's less cougar territory. They're maybe more on equal footing.
Hadrian was like, hey, teacher.
Yeah,
I'll wait, and then all of a sudden they're the same age, just like Star Wars.
Actually. I was actually just thinking that. I was like, actually, that's kind of what we needed in Anakin Padme's case to make it not.
And they just did that physically, but they just didn't do anything to make the math make sense. They were like, all right, little kid, full grown woman. And then what if we did full grown man, full grown woman?
Same woman.
They just said, yeah, that's probably fine.
It's
no one will think too hard about it.
In some way, it's even worse because you had both Natalie Portman and Keira Knightley in the first movie, and so you could have actually like kept one or the other and had it just be the little one, and then or Keira or whatever, and then have
Keira is younger, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been cool if Padme was the younger one.
One piece of credit that I really want to give Rocchio here is that he really paints. I really like Thagura as it's presented as this sort of like very epic city with like the faces, the planet, excuse me, with like the faces of all the people that came before, you know, like carved into the mountains, holding up buildings. Like there's this sort of like epic, I don't know, like grandstanding of like the barony, like meaning something, and like the ruling class being more than that to them. And we get that also through the presentation of the people, of whom really actually love Malian outside of the actions that she does. And we can talk more about that, of course. But
and even that, like, I mean, we'll jump into it later, but they're like, it is hard for Hadrian to get one person to fucking admit what she did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they love and fear her, which is a dangerous combo, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
I kind of feel like they all act like they love her because they're afraid
they fear her. Yeah,
she's gonna kill him.
Interesting.
I think there's a weird combo because these are plebs, right? They live this long.
Yeah.
Whereas the Palatines live such long. So maybe that's how it started, but eventually you
she's
build
like a god at some point.
She's a god to them. She's their god emperor, you know?
Yeah.
We all know we worship the god emperor who rules the universe, but she's their god emperor. She's their representation of Caesar himself, you know? Like, and there's like
because the emperor is far away.
The emperor is far away, which, oh my god, I
we're gonna talk a lot about that.
Love this
very
edition.
far away.
Yeah, I have a whole subsection to talk about that, but yeah.
But yeah, no, I really like kind of how it represents how the people feel about them. It whenever you start to deal with these like huge differentials in lifespan, people can create their own legends and kind of like build their own.
Just wait 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you can kind of start to build your own image. And this is generations of Palatines. So how many generations of plebeians is that? At this point, it's not so different from spoilers. By the way, if you haven't read up to Morningstar in Red Rising, it's not that different than like what they did to the fucking Obsidians, like
Right.
it's
Yeah,
not
making
because they were
false
uprising,
gods.
but yeah, they've created themselves to be false gods, and maybe they're half true gods at this point compared to how they are to those other people. But like, I think these people really, I could not imagine there being a race of humans that are just the hottest people I've ever seen that lived to 400 years old that I wouldn't eventually fall into the fucking cult of, right? Like, as me.
Yeah. Especially
yeah,
when she keeps whipping her tits out.
dude. Like,
Malian's hot.
Chaperone.
Malian's hot. Let's be clear.
I get this with celebrities, and they're just also human. If there was a type of celebrity that was entirely different, like
a political,
than me,
also like
and
a political boss, a genome,
Yeah.
like every. Okay.
Yeah, just
all right.
Taller than me, hotter than me, lives forever. My dad was into her. I'm into her. My grandpa was into her. My kids will be into her. Like
it's a lot. Yeah.
It's a there's no way not to like kind of build some level of like worship around that, I think.
Yeah. I do, before we move into the Cielson of it all, I did want to mention this just because you brought it up, Aaron. One of the things that I do find really interesting about the story that we haven't talked about is obviously Volca is a primary character throughout. She's been on ice, she's uniced, but in addition, in Hadrian's mind, he is thinking about her all the time in these scenes with Malian, wherein she is like coming on hard and strong to him. As we're introduced to her at first in this like crazy gown. Have either of you seen the newer cover for this? The one that like is the cover of the book?
No.
Hang on. I
think it might be all I've seen. What does it look like?
I will
Is it her in a chair?
To you. Yes, it is her in a chair.
That's what I've seen.
With Hadrian pointing a sword. The
with
old
the sword,
one,
yeah.
The old one is, and I'll send this to you, Aaron, so you don't have to find it too hard. Anyone who's looking for this as well, you can find it on the Amazon publishing version, but basically really just excellent like portrayal and art that was done to update it, because the previous cover was more of the faces in the mountains and much more meant to evoke Thagura. So,
and the audiobook's just someone in a helmet.
Correct, because that actually the only audiobooks that haven't been updated to new art. This is a very fun fact for anyone who doesn't know this. So originally the art that was published on the audiobooks was an entirely separate art that the audiobook company that was producing them just decided they wanted the covers to be. So they didn't use the publisher covers for the books, and they just fucking made their own.
Like AI bullshit?
It wasn't AI, but it was all bad. Like, it was all pretty, and I don't mean to besmirch the artists of whom did the work, but it was like they like skimmed the story, took 2 pages of details and went, okay, cool, we're just going to put that as the cover.
Yeah, here's a space guy, no face.
And that's what all of the covers were for so many things. What's interesting is the audiobook here got the same treatment, even though it was self-published, even versus the cover of the original novella, which was made and developed, I believe, by his wife, did all the work on the original cover, which is I think it's a solid cover, not the one in the helmet, but just the regular one. I'll send it to you, Josh, here so you can see it. But the new cover, I believe by John Barry Ballorand, is great.
No, this is cool.
Yeah. But yeah,
Very
so
good
she
cool.
looks hot as hell, right? With the Cielson.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's okay. In the chair's real good, but
yeah.
But the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going down the river.
Yeah, exactly.
Boromir's about to die. That's so good.
The river people.
Mm-hmm.
doing Stop in the Name of Love.
It's evocative of the same idea. And I really love some of those descriptions, honestly, feel very Lord of the Ringsy of the different like statues carved in stone, older than
I was
time.
kind of.
Even though this is only a barony that's a couple 100 years old. Like this is
I
not
just
an ancient
watched
plant.
Fellowship of the Ring, the extended version, so it's been on my mind.
Which one was I supposed to like?
Whichever
Which
cover.
photo?
Yeah. I honestly, it's whichever. Yeah.
Well, the one in the chair, there's some nipple, so I zoomed in.
Wait, is there?
Yeah.
Hold on.
That might change opinions.
Honestly, the one with the towers, they look like Gimli with his axe.
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
very
they
dwarfish.
do a little, yeah.
Very dwarfish.
Okay, so I've talked to Crossland about this. I have a weird thing, and I don't think most people have this. I dislike book covers with characters on it.
Sure.
I don't know that we talked about it.
You want it to look like artsy or innocuous, like you don't know what it's about.
The second you put a human being on a book cover that's in the book, I don't like it
the
anymore.
Emperor behind you over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's a well-made book cover.
That's badass.
And a lot of people like it. And you like the Karn Cigar one a lot. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's sick artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a book cover to me. So there's this thing where like a book cover and artwork are two different things.
That's fair. I agree with you more on that cover because I do think that it depicts something that is very intent. Like I think that Demon in White intentionally portrays this man in white as the intended demon. And yet,
I think at this point, I've seen every cover in the series, and they're all very good covers, and they're all the type of covers I dislike.
That's crazy. I'm also such a big fan of Kieran Yanner that like I can't help it. Like I love the artist of these covers I have.
Well, and I like the art. All of the covers in this have great art.
Yeah.
They're just the type of cover I dislike. I don't like people on covers. I don't know why.
Weird. Interesting.
You want to like picture the character in your head and not have someone tell you what they look like.
Yeah, very much so in a book. I hate to say it. I don't want to. I'm going to say it. They're not very good books. I've read 3 of them, and they're fun.
Which books?
The Fourth Wing books have great covers.
Oh, like, who are you talking about?
Like that's the type of shit that I like. I like iconography. Like I like do something that's like very like just because I looked over at my bookshelf and those were ones that I saw. Oh no, The Devils is the best cover I've ever seen. In my opinion.
Cover. Yep.
It's a good
That's
cover.
my favorite
It's cover.
Specifically for like fantasy fiction. That's my favorite cover I've ever seen. It's simple. It's iconography, but it tells you what the story is. You have the candles to represent like modern religion, Catholicism. We have the skull to represent like death and spookiness and devils. And then you have the crown to represent like the political struggle. And it's just there representing one thing, which is a horned devil. And oh my God, it's perfect. Like that's what I love covers to be, is just like, I think of covers
a little bit more like
artwork
symbols.
the same way.
Yeah.
And in the same way, I don't like it when album artwork features the artist.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think of books the same way. And it's probably because I developed that specific taste from music. And then now as I get there, I'm like, it can't have the person on it. That's lame. You know?
I guess the thing that I like about the covers, especially in Suneater in particular, is the scene. It's the scene setting. It's the visuals, because there's a grandiosity to it. Like, especially talking about the Queen of Mid-Ashes cover, I love the sort of idea, like, this is not the specific scene that happened, obviously, because she is not literally sitting on top of dead Cielson at any moment, and her own dead
No, but
people,
it's representative,
right?
for sure.
It's representative in a very interesting and fascinating way.
But she nuked them all.
Yeah.
But I feel like the one that has like the statues is also evocative.
It definitely is. It definitely is. It's just it's different. I like both for different reasons, but I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're all better than the audiobook one with the guy in the helmet.
The audiobook one is
helmet
bullshit.
One, get it
it's so bad. It's so
Get
bad.
it out of here.
That's a bad cover.
Yeah. None of the original audiobook rendition covers, of which you can definitely find somewhere, are good. So
well, Cross, I think I've told you that I don't like any of Joe Abercrombie's first trilogy covers. Actually, any of his covers.
But they don't
Age
have
of
anything
Madness
on
is
it.
fine.
They don't have anything on it.
Age of Madness is fine.
Yeah.
I do kind of like the Age of Madness covers, but like
I love the Heroes cover. That's my favorite Joe Abercrombie cover. The sword in hand, the battle in the background.
it's not bad. It's not bad, but like, you know what covers I do actually really like? The fucking original Red Rising.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, no.
The feather.
No.
Those looked a little more YA, I think.
The original
And
Red
I'm
Rising
fine with
cover
it.
is
Like
so
it's
bad.
actually upsetting to me that like YA became this thing where it's like, hey, if you do iconography, it's YA. I don't want to see fucking people on my covers unless they're oil painted.
Man, I
like
did not
old
expect this
fantasy
argument
shit.
this evening, but I cannot believe that you stand by the original Red Rising cover. I think
like
that's
them.
the
They're
worst.
nostalgic at this
I think that's
point.
the worst cover in the whole series.
I like them.
The Golden Sun one works. The Morningstar one is fine. The Dark and the sequel series all works because they like figured out a better
Okay.
sense of iconography.
I'm mostly
but-
thinking of the sequel
Feather.
series whenever I say that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
The fuck yeah, oh, man, I do not like the original Red Rising cover. I'm such a hater.
Fight.
Fight.
Let's fight right now. All right, let's talk about this fucking book.
Yeah, no. I really enjoy this. I do really enjoy this book for the record. I think that I maybe came a little bit too strong saying that I liked Demons of RA more. I just feel like the overall, this feels like an episodic moment out of Empire of Silence, very similarly, where it's like plucked at a time, like an episode, like we were saying before.
It is nice to be able to get through a book in a day because most of these bitches are 800 pages long. So
Right. It's excellent and it's paced really well. I do really enjoy it. The Cielson encounter of this, I think, is also one of the more interesting components of the entire story. Obviously, the deceit of Malian we'll get into, but we really dive into this seeing like immediately we route the Cielson at the very beginning of the story before even kind of seeing anything happen, which I think almost would have worked better as an introduction to set a premise. Like if we would have started with the battle in space to then work our way down. I understand, keep it short, keep it brief, but like a little bit of space battle into everything else.
we love a space battle.
We love a space battle. I think
Start with a
that's
space
the
battle.
intro.
That's so exciting. And then
Is
we can be like,
Hadrian
oh,
shooting out of a spit tube?
I mean,
We don't know.
Yeah. He's peeling his way through whatever the hell.
Through the ship.
Yeah, but Muzagara is sort of the Cielson lord of whom has abandoned his people here or has fled one way or another. We stumble into these slaughterhouses, which are absolutely terrifying near the cold poles of the planet, and we see these different things as they're described with these giant pillars that have burrowed into these glaciers. At the very top are these spikes that have gourds on them. No, those aren't gourds. Those are faces staring down at
be heads.
empty. And just like a lot of that description is just so perfectly horrific. Like you said, Erin, earlier, man, I fucking love it. I love when we get into the Cielson bit. I love
the horror.
that story.
Yeah, Rakio really keeps trying to emphasize how evil and not animalistic, but they're not the tiger.
Bestial,
the tiger. They're they're doing some things to torture, like the heads on the wall. They're not just eating when they're hungry. So it's like proving to Hadrian, I can't work with these monsters because you can't reason with them. They're just pure evil.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that inherently bugs me about the pure evilness of the Cielson in the series up to this point that I've read from Hadrian's point of view, because there has never been a single thing described by the Cielson that humans haven't done. So he's like, oh, they just didn't even wait. They just eviscerated and ate those people. Humans be doing that. In the history, yeah. They're like, oh my God, they put human heads on these spikes as a warning that they're coming to kill you all. Yeah, what do you think the fuck humans been doing?
That's why I love the quote here that got adapted a little bit, right? And again, this is one change
I would love to
between
hear
audiobook
the
and text.
adaptation. Yeah.
Evil is the tiger is not cruel, nor the tidal wave. The meteor is blind, and the solar flare heedless as it burns. Men are cruel, and beasts sometimes, yes, but they are men, and the Cielson are Cielson. What peace is there to brook between predator and prey? And I think that that's the difference here, is that instead what he's suggesting is that we have been looking at this relationship as peer-to-peer, but instead the Cielsen are superior. They are predators. And so they are treating us
Alien.
like prey.
But it's also interesting because I think that at this point in the book, at least, we're not shown that. We are shown that, like, physically they're superior.
Are we not? Yeah.
To me, like, physically, yeah. But
Sure.
as a whole, we have been shown that humans have shields in ways that Cielsen don't. Like, I actually feel
radiation.
like, yeah, like we have just watched humans decimate Cielsen ships once they figured out how to think about the Cielsen. Like, it's hard for me to say that the Cielsen are the prey and humans
the predators.
are
Predator.
or are the prey, or are the predators
Predators.
and humans are the prey, because they're physically superior. Because, like,
face to face, humans
tigers
are,
are physically superior. You know, like, and that's the
like,
weird spot where I'm like,
face to face. The Cielsen are
Mhm.
the alien from the movie Alien, but
yeah.
if you work together, you can find ways to survive.
So far at this point,
But
they've
fair.
shown me more reasons that the Cielsen have, like, the underhand. Like, the
Mhm.
Cielsen seem more fucked than humans at this point in the books. Whenever we find out they're starving, they don't freeze themselves.
I think that's
Every
the
single
implication.
time they, yeah, like, and Hadrian's like, they're the predators, we're the prey, and I'm like, not really. Like, in the same way that if you would say humans are the top of the food chain in real life today,
Mhm.
you could not put a human and a lion in a cage match and expect the human to get out. But
Yeah.
the humans are the top
In
of the food
general,
chain, you know?
yeah.
Own
And
the
I think that they're
cage.
still that because they built the cage. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a great.
um,
Aaron.
yeah, I think that's what you said. Is that what you said?
Yeah, we own the cage.
Yeah.
We own the cage. We built the
are
cage. Yes, exactly. We're the cage,
Be the
dude.
cage.
So I guess it's just interesting that it's like trying to set up the Cielsen to be the predators, whenever
But
even still
I
they're
think
still being
it's, like,
represented.
They're
like-
not. You can't reason with them though. Like you
Mhm.
can't reason with. They're, you know,
And
like
I've
we
seen
saw
so
in
many
the
hippies
last
smoke a
book.
lot of weed and then just, like, join a lion pride, you know? There's documentaries about them. So I don't know. I'm still not
That's
convinced.
where I
know
like
that we
the
can't
evil
reason that.
is. You know, it's like evil just
Yeah.
is, and like that makes sense in this context. To Aaron's point, like,
And I think that, like, you can't reason with them as peers,
Mhm.
but Hadrian is setting humanity up as the prey that has to, like, destroy them. And everything I've seen to this point implies humanity is humanity in the same way where it's just, like, not quite prey predator, but, like, dominant creature that could ruin you and the planet and the universe.
we kind of haven't seen like
You
a
know?
big Cielsen loss or like Cielsen like win. You know what I mean? At this point,
We haven't seen a big Cielsen win at this point.
Yeah.
I guess we've been implied a lot of them, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
There's
they've like destroyed whole planets and eaten everybody.
and I think that they
Right.
are, like, absolutely decimating humanity, you know, like a few million people at a time, which in the billions and billions and billions of people in the universe.
Julian.
And this is actually something that is very important in Howling Dark. Like, I think that I'm very stuck on Hadrian's display of dominance in Howling Dark.
Hmm.
The Cielsen are decimating all these people, but this is how many people there are.
Mhm.
And Arenado was, like, fucking terrified by that number. You know?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the humans are more advanced in a lot of ways than the Cielsen. Now,
But Hadrian
this
did
point-
die when he went toe to toe.
for sure, yeah. As
Don't
I
forget.
would
He's a little bitch. Yeah.
if I tried to fist the cuffs a fucking puma, yeah,
You would
yeah,
also need to
I
be
would die
resurrected.
too. So imagine humans and northern white tigers went to war. It's about the same amount. There's like 200 of them, and they'd kill a lot of us. But imagine one of us just couldn't die. I think we'd win.
And had a cool sword.
Yeah.
So Josh is a Cielsen sympathizer.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, kind of.
I love the drow too, Josh. I totally get it, but that doesn't mean that they aren't apophagi and they don't eat people.
All I'm saying is I think that Hadrian is saying they're the predator, we're the prey, and that's not necessarily accurate. It's just that we can't necessarily communicate.
Yeah, I get it. He also says that he still says in that same breath, at the very least, maybe not the same sentence, but he's like, I hoped to keep the total battles in my life under my hand count. That never happened, but like he was like, I hope that I could count them on my fingers. And I think that speaks to his idea that like he still wishes to like broker peace in some larger way, but he also sees the reality of so many of these people. And I do think that this slaughterhouse is just such a great example of like what that evil kind of looks like in a very different way, in the way that like their society exists, right? So there are like the people that work, there are the people who reproduce to create food, which is another like horrifying concept in and of itself. But then the people of whom are worthless one way or another, they throw to these fish to be picked clean to become idols in some sort of larger way on the wall, right?
Have you heard of veal?
Lambs? Yes, I've heard of veal. I'm aware. Yes, I know what we do. I know what we do to sheep. It's not great. It tastes really good.
Veal's made of cows.
Yeah. Oh, veal. Sorry, I was thinking
lambs.
But yeah.
No, yeah. The weird altar thing. I don't know. I feel like this book is just trying to like convince. It's like trying to get Hadrian to wrap his mind more and more around the fact that he can't negotiate or work with the Sealson.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost
a
like
genocide
his inner
convincing
monologue
book.
is
Yeah,
like him continuing to be like, I didn't know they were this bad, and then you see the altar. Oh my God, I didn't know they were this bad, and him deciding more and more that it's hopeless to communicate with them.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like at a loss in some ways where it's like, I definitely understand where you guys are coming from, where it's just like this very hostile perspective on the Sealson. Man, this is interesting because you guys neither of you have read further than this. So I'm left with both of you being like, well, Crossland, we feel a little bit like Hadrian's being a big bad boy about these guys, and they might be okay.
I mean, I guarantee you the Sealson are fucked, but like,
right.
At this point, this like statue
I'm not a
of skulls.
Sealson sympathizer.
Yeah, right.
Sympathizer.
I think the thing I should specify is I'm not sympathizing with the Sealson. I just think Hadrian's being weird to be like, humans have never done this.
Well, I think that he did say that in the quote, though. He said, men are cruel and beasts sometimes, yes. So like that's an admittance to like similar tendencies at the very least.
Like killer whales fuck with you and
I just specifically remember like later in this story whenever he sees this serpent,
Mudinar,
yeah, that he's like, oh, we would never do this. I'm like, have you seen France? Have you ever gone to the catacombs? Like this place is built on skulls.
Well, no, I think he means more specifically in the idolatry of like killing and cleaning the bones in such a way. Like this is an intense.
Oh, we've never done that?
No, it's not that we've never done that. It's that specifically
we kind of did that like a lot, like all throughout history.
No, but there's a lot of structure to that. That's a good point.
It was actually like every single culture did that to another culture at some point.
That's very
by
true.
the time Hadrian
kind of genocide
comes
with them and then
you
use
might
their
not
bones
have heard
as
those stories.
Cross, have you read history books?
Yeah. What I'm suggesting is in mass in the way that they do here, and like another species to another species. But
we would never decimate another species just to stack their bones like wild buffalo in a mountainside to stand on top of it with our fucking buffalo gun.
I'm from
Teddy Roosevelt. This was less than 100 years ago.
No, I'm very aware of Buffalo Bill and the entirety of that history there. Actually, I re-experienced that more recently, thinking about that more. But I definitely get it, and a lot of that exposure. Like we have done a lot of those things to other humans, and have actually, I think Buffalo Bill is a great example, with the buffalo damaging the Native Americans in particular, because that is kind of similar. I guess the difference perceived, if I might, is
They're aliens?
it's not just that they're aliens.
It's just that they're different than me.
No, it's also not just that they're different than me. My suggestion instead is that like
that they have to eat us.
No, because also I think that there's a good argument that they could have eaten cows.
They don't.
And I want to get into the fish thing and some other stuff too. That like there is a central worship, and that worship is different based on the cultures. Our worship, if we want to point to the American ideology and talk about the West a little bit,
for sure,
the idea of manifest destiny was very Christo driven, very, I don't want to say Christo fascist, but like there's a lot of interesting. It isn't quite, but it adjacent. And if we compare that with sort of what they have going on, I struggle to draw those comparisons so firmly, but I do see the comparison. Does that make sense?
I'm talking less about the comparisons politically or historically, and more the comparisons within what we're capable of and what and what we have done to us,
capable of very competent evils.
And I think that's like, I'm not drawing it specifically to America. I'm just saying like, hey, here's a recent example of when we do that.
No,
shit,
I understand.
And I think
but
that
either
like
way, that doesn't make the Cielson's actions less horrific.
No, they're so horrific.
Right.
They're so bad. All I'm saying is that I think that there's something that rubs me slightly the wrong way in some of the writing in this novella, where it's like, this is when I realized they were bad, because what human would do that? And there's like specific times when they were like, men wouldn't be this evil. In the right, and I know that that's Adrian, not Christopher, but like there's like specific words in this where they're like, men might be evil, but they wouldn't do this. And I'm like, yeah, no, they do. Like, everything you think is like, men wouldn't do it. They did at some point. So that's all I'm bringing up, is that I do get thrown off whenever the Cielson are brought up as like an irredeemable evil different than men. Because I have not seen Cielson do a single thing that I haven't also confirmed men have done.
That's fair. Feeding to cannibalistic fish is an interesting switch, though, right? Which is what they do here to clean and pick the bones. I, at first blush, and I'm curious if you guys thought this thing too. At first, I was like, oh, especially in reread, I was like, oh, that's a genius way to store humans without needing to feed them. Feed it to a fish, keep the fish alive. Except for that doesn't seem to actually be the intent of the fish. So I'm keeping that myself for a different science fiction story down the line. But like, that seems like a great idea, right? Then you don't have to feed. It's a way of turning many into fewer and like calorically dense. I don't know, as like a scientific idea.
Oh, just like a big fat fish pig?
Yeah, basically.
Like a sci-fi fish pig.
Yeah.
That's so good. Because you can like throw
that's what I thought he was going
to
for.
pigs and just get calories. Yeah.
Uh-huh. To pick the bones clean. That said, really interesting. We get a little brief Cielson conflict a couple of different times. We get a reminder again that the Cielson can cut through the shields, because shields are mostly meant to repulse energy weapons and things like that. They don't do anything else. So swords and things like that obviously cut through them. The worms. Oh man, the Nahute, I think, here are described more horrifying than anywhere outside of anywhere so
Well,
That's a really good description of the Nahute, I think.
Yeah, like burrowing into the guy, right?
Yeah, and then he's still alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, alien.
Very alien. Very. No, it really is. I think that like, I don't want to say that like Rocky owes something to Ridley Scott and Alien, but like there's a lot of like lovely homage to a lot of that horror, I think, throughout.
Uh-huh.
It's just in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it's going in instead of coming out. There is a viceroy in this, by the way. I forgot. The viceroys are mentioned a couple of times. I've hit a couple of different lines that I wanted to pick up, but one I think that is most important is that of Mayudnar. What do you guys think of this whole interesting conversation about a Cielson god? I can read it first, or would you rather talk first?
Read it first.
Okay.
Read it first. I
Like,
remember it.
who?
Just read it first.
Mudinar, it said, the dreamer, Mudinar. It was the first time I ever heard that hateful name. I knew it not then, but I looked for the first time upon the likeness of one older than time, capital T, time. Mudinar the Great, the dreamer, who dead and deathless sleeps until the stars burn down. Mudinar, I asked, stomping upon Umasu's shoulder, your god? And then his is the time before time and the time after it.
Mudinar. So that's what that altar was too.
Yes,
Yeah.
the giant snake, which I'll just point this out, is the same snake that you can see on the cover of Kingdoms of Death, which is the 4th book.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it's not the exact same snake, but it is the same portrayal, the idea.
Mudinar is some sick-ass lore I hope I get more of. I'll tell you that much.
He's on the cover of
also-
book 4, as mentioned.
So probably won't ever see him again. Yeah.
Never again. Yep.
Knowing this series, they just mention shit and they move on.
So it's interesting, like in The Howling Dark, it seemed like Hadrian was starting to think they can't be reasoned with because they're almost like bugs with a queen, like they just do whatever the one in charge says. But
Mhm.
then now they have a god, like they have religion. So is there more depth?
We
to
didn't have
them
culture,
than-
before. Now we have culture in a weird
Yeah,
way.
and they have a culture. They're not just bugs.
And importantly,
Following ahead.
I think that this story also says, like, specifically that, like, Hadrian is one of the 4 most, like, knowledgeable people about the Cielce in general at this point. And, like, they had no idea about art or, like, if there was an art within the culture. And he sees that a couple of times when they're walking through these things. He's like, it's grotesque. It is, it is insane to view.
But they're clearly
Also,
doing art.
there is something to this. There's a structure to it.
Yeah,
So the
whether
holy
it's
people in the caves, were they looking for Mudinar? Was that book 1?
So they said they were the quiet, the watchers, things of that nature,
Okay.
as it was
So that might
translated.
not be
Yeah.
Mudinar. We don't know.
Unclear. Yeah.
I mean, I have to assume that they know that the quiet is different than Mudinar, but is maybe like connected to in their religion. There can't be Mudinar and the quiet just totally separate.
Mhm.
And they're both worshiping him.
I also
Unless
can't.
there's, yeah, actually, I mean, at the end of the day, how many religions exist on Earth? You know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there
Like,
could
what
be
if there's just a bunch of different Cielce worshiping different things?
very, very possible, very plausible. I also think that there's something to be said about, like, just bring this back to sort of a real fictional standpoint, like deathless and sleeping is like a very clear call out to Cthulhu. Like, that is an almost immediate H.P. Lovecraft reference.
I have nothing to add to that, but yes.
Yes. But Mudinar, this idea of this, like, terrifying snake made of skulls composed on the wall, to me personally, it evokes, I know that we talked about a lot of real world examples. It evokes the scene, I think, in one of the mid-season episodes of Game of Thrones, when we get the bones composing from the others. And I just like of the shape of the spiral. And I think about that immediately every time, and I'm like, ooh, haunted just a little bit more in its portrayal.
Yeah, I love it. Like, it shows a brutality. It definitely like sets up a villain.
Mhm.
I just don't know that it sets up inhumanity in the way that it's implied. But
Sure, yeah,
and
It's
that's
novella.
not a I would say that to me that's not a dig on the writing. I almost feel like it's purposeful. I don't know where the story goes.
Mhm.
But every time Hadrian tells me, like, this isn't what humans do and it's something humans do, I'm like, I want to wait till I finish the series to find out if that's on purpose or not.
Yeah. Aaron's
Well, we
like
know he
looking for
kill-
tells.
We know he
Laughing.
kills his son, so
Yeah. We know he kills a lot of
He's
them.
the worst. He's
Yeah.
the worst human.
Yeah.
Can't blow up a son.
Yeah, kind of a bad time.
He keeps bringing it back up too. We're like, we know.
He's like,
Yeah.
how dare you kill like a few 100,000 people? I killed like a few billion, but like, how dare you?
How dare
You
you
ate
eat
them.
10 people?
Yeah, how dare you eat 10 people? I blew them up. That's different.
Way better.
More better for me. All right, cool. With that, I think we can move. Anything else on the Cielson side of the story before we move into sort of the Empire end of this?
I don't think this book gave the Cielson any more credits. It just kind of was like, let's knock them down a little more by being more
All right.
evil. We hate them more. They eat people more, and now they worship gods that
Yeah.
eat people.
I actually think this book
Cielson
maybe
bad.
gave me more reasons to think that Hadrian was like wrongfully just writing them off as animals, but they showed us art. And I was like, yeah, that's art. They're like, that's human skull art. And I'm like, yeah. If we
I'm worried
encountered
about-
aliens, would we not make alien skull art? Yeah.
I mean, eventually.
we hang,
Yeah.
whatever deer on our walls. I almost say
Very
cows.
true.
I was like,
Very
Yeah.
true.
Do you know how many
and people do
times I've
think that,
had
yeah.
just like longhorns on my walls growing up?
Yeah, those are skulls.
You know, come to think
Yeah.
of it, like every leather piece that we wear ever, right? Like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's to the Cielson, the humans.
Have you ever
are
glued
food,
something? That's from horses, baby.
Not all glue.
Not all glue, but most. You gotta choose not to buy it.
So
God, there was something I was gonna
like
say based on all that.
the Cielson see us as food, which is how we see animals, and they hang us on the wall, and we hang them on the wall. So
Yeah, he describes these places frequently as slaughterhouses, right? In the same kind of way. And that's meant to evoke something, I think, horrifying in us intentionally, like as we're reading the story. But I also do think that to the opposite perspective, like you're saying, Erin, it's like that's something that we do to other people. Like it's this is the predator prey thing again. It's just it's circular in a lot of ways.
But yeah, you're meant to feel empathy for like, oh, being in a slaughterhouse. That's terrifying.
Yeah. I don't think that this means that like Christopher Rocchio is supporting PETA at any time in the near future, but I do think that
Imagine.
I just don't think that aligns. But I do I do think that it speaks to the idea of like, hang on. Is this the way that this would happen at a universe scale? If like they needed the same kind of things, could we not just also be like meat sacks for them? You know?
Yeah.
I think
Life
it's very
of Pi,
reasonable.
you might become a tiger and eat your family or whatever.
Right. That's a great. You might become a tiger and eat your family or whatever.
Whatever.
Life of Pi is a great Darren Aronofsky film and book. But yeah. Cool. All right. Well,
I'm so mad because there was a specific thing I wanted to bring up that I started to talk about, and then we went on that, and I cannot remember it. I'm not mad at anybody else.
Do you have any idea where adjacently? None?
Absolutely none.
Fuck.
Let's go.
There was the skulls, slaughterhouses, the built-in glaciers, coal.
There was the slut Malion.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about her more in a moment.
move on.
So I really feel like the end of the story, by and large, and the way the majority focus of it is the sort of the episodic fall of this Baroness, of whom is our Baroness Malion. There's a lot of flirting as we return, and we get sort of the truth from these 19 survivors after like a couple of them sort of confess in different directions, some incorrectly or like inappropriately, and then others telling more of like a clear truth. We come to find that like 8 million people were killed as a part of sort of the strike against her own populace, as like the Cielson raided twice, but then on the third time, when the boy cried wolf the third time, it was actually her own people bombing to prevent them from potentially being able to ransack more, which is not a bad strategy if I'm playing a 4X game, but a very bad strategy if you have real people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything like she does here in this revelation made a lot of sense, because it was like, it's called Queen Amid Ashes. So I was like, you said there's no like promise, and I would say the title is the promise,
but it's not otherwise like given. But yeah, sure,
within the story.
Yeah.
But whenever this started happening, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's why she's specifically listed in the title. it's not the worst strategy if the sea elves are attacking. Like, well, they're here for
Hadrian
food.
seems to
Get
try
rid of the
to
food,
say,
and then I'll
like,
survive. But it is
Hadrian's
evil.
like, if you would have let them eat and move on, they wouldn't have had to stay here. But because you blew up the food, they had to stay here to get enough to move on or something, right?
I think the thing that's not like
Yes.
explicitly said here, and you're so right, and I think that that's like the most important part of this whole argument is that if they'd shown up and ate and moved on, they would have moved on. But because she blew everyone up, they had to stay.
And sort of find in the niches, you know.
What's not listed is that if they had shown up to eat until they were satisfied to move on, they may have hit the city and been like, what's that castle like? And she knew she couldn't keep them out of the castle, right? The stone. Right. It wasn't about saving her planet. It wasn't about saving as many people as possible. It was about the fact that they would probably have eaten her too and then moved on. So if she killed everybody here, they'd have to go to the other parts of the planet. And that's like not specifically listed. Maybe that wasn't even her specific thought, but like that's really what it comes down to. It wasn't that she saved her planet by killing her people. It's that she saved herself by killing her people.
That's the implication, right? Both by, like you said, like the intent of the story, the promise of the title, like Queen Amid Ashes. Well, yes, you burned everyone so that you could reign instead of dying with everyone else. I think about like Throne of Blood, similarly by Akira Kurosawa, an adaptation of King Lear, or Henry V. But an excellent like comparison nonetheless, where it's like, hang on, like what are we here for? Like why you're sacrificing everything, but for what? You know? Oh,
and
so
it all comes down to, in my opinion, just her own ass, you know? Her own slightly translucent black silk clothed ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good ass.
Apparently, the best the Empire can
According to Hadrian.
and Hadrian even compares her at one moment to the Karn bot, right? That like tried to seduce him, which is a lot.
Yes,
so I have read a little bit
From
into
Segura's.
Demon in White at this point, and I'm not going to do any spoilers for it. But all I gotta say is between Howling Dark, this, and Demon in White, I think Rockio might be writing Bond girls. You know, like just every now and then a new super unreasonably hot person to ruin Hadrian's life.
Turns out to be evil.
Very fair. Very fair. It's interesting. Malian again is like an interesting villain. I love that she like declines and she's like so aggressive about it. Hadrian has to very carefully play in conversation to kind of work the information out of her one way or another, even just into getting her to leave to go to Hauptmann and sort of like a criminal tribunal. In the end, they barely get her out of the building, and the other people. A lot of them are like initially not willing to surrender and tell the truth, even though like Hadrian's directly confronting. A couple break. That's enough. Morrow, of whom has been an excellent Chiliarch from the other side, then stands up on his own, fighting for his queen to the last, like a brave Lancelot, without a purpose.
Brave old guy.
Yeah, brave old guy. And gets cut down unceremoniously and sadly, frankly, because he's a good man, it seems like, throughout a lot of this.
But didn't he know about the genocide?
I think there's a lot of good men that defended genocide to their last breath, and I still think they should have died. I
mean,
I
just from watched that new Netflix Nuremberg trials movie.
Very fair. Yeah. There's also the movie that came out this last year, Nuremberg, which I think was excellent.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, did it come out on Netflix? It must have.
I guess it was
re-released. Okay, it was an actual movie in theaters that I saw, but it was yes. Very good.
The whole time I was like, he's so skinny.
You can't say that when we're talking about like
I know
genocide
like,
and other things like that. I love that.
Eat a hamburger.
Yeah.
They invented those, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
The
The Cielson invented man burgers, so it's a little different.
Man burger.
Yeah, you're right.
Only at Burger King.
Yeah,
I
only
love
at
talking about like a Nazi and being like, eat a hamburger, because like they're named for Hamburg. They're a German invention.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a deeper cut joke than I think he meant to do.
It was very good. It was very good. But
He's so tiny.
It's true. I love Rami Malek in a lot of things. I think that Rami Malek would make a very good Lorien, but we haven't gotten there yet. So,
I don't know Lorien.
For those of you who know, he's my fan casting for Lorien. That said, we'll move away from that for a moment.
Sorry.
No, it's good. You just
really
mentioned
sad.
Rami Malek, and it caught me up in like my one strong fan casting where I'm like, that guy should be that guy.
He'd be great.
Sorry, Rami Malek is my fan cast for one thing from a specific book series, and I have to jump in because I can't think of his fucking name. But in
From what book?
the First Law, first trilogy, at the end, there's like the main eater prophet person who's like, you're speaking to Kowloon.
Not Kowloon, obviously. It's Mamoon.
Mamoon.
Yeah.
Rami Malek is my Mamoon.
Yeah.
But, all right, moving on.
That's cool.
So you
I
thought Morrow dying was sad. I thought it was kind of badass.
Well, I thought it was a cool moment. I thought that.
I was like, yeah, cut him up.
Yeah,
and also
it was cool for Hadrian. So yeah,
I'm
like,
bummed for Morrow because he felt like honor bound in so many ways to do this, but like he felt like he was a better man than that in so many ways. You know, over the course of the story, especially again, this is the story that I've reread the most in this series now, which is crazy. It does not deserve that title, but
it does feel to me like this story, especially, and what I've read up to this point, is starting to like build this idea of like duty and like going against what you know is right because of what you know you have to do. And this is like one of those early examples of that.
Absolutely. And like Morrow in particular, I think exemplifies a lot of those ideals where it's like, I have to stand by the incorrect choice because otherwise I am dead. Like if I survive on the other side, I'm dead. If I survive on this side, I'm dead. What the fuck do I do? And it's because of a choice that he made. It's a choice that he made before that he has to stand by. And like
the
that's
wrong choice, but yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And that I don't think that he's a good character, but I think it's compelling in the way that's portrayed. And so like I appreciate Morrow. I think he's one of the more in my opinion, I think Morrow is actually a better character than Malian in that way, where he feels more internally complex.
I like to think of Morrow in that same way of like, if you look at like any of the Kingsguard in Game of Thrones, right? Like they know what's going on is
great
wrong,
comparison. Yep.
But like it is their duty to serve. And I think he's an honorable man. He just like his honor lies with a genocidal selfish maniac. So it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Cool. So kills Morrow. So we get to, and the Emperor is far away as it stands, which is sort of the end of this. I love that this is sort of the refrain for a lot of this because it does kind of hearken onto the idea here of corruption of local officials, which is what the original phrase stands for. There are kind of two spins on it. It's heaven is high and the Emperor is far away, or mountains are high and the Emperor is far away. And I love this idea of sort of the removal in this idea of Queen amid ashes, because she was left to make her own decisions in so many ways and made the wrong ones. And she's using this phrase. She uses this phrase at first against Hadrian, and then he turns it around on her throughout the entirety of this, up until her execution, in which he's like, the Emperor is far away and I'm here to make this decision. Because otherwise, to Volka's point, like she's not going to go through justice. She's just going to be frozen.
And, you know, frozen, title stripped, probably married off for her genes. Like, also doesn't sound great, but
anything beheadings may be better. But you know.
I mean, especially considering what Hadrian was staring down. He mentions the Mataros within this, and he's like, what could have happened to me is basically what could happen to her. Is sort of the implication of it. So,
and yet he sees
this might be a better fate. Yeah.
But he sees this as the punishment and that as an escape of her punishment, whereas he saw that as the worst punishment back in the day. Hadrian, you hypocritical little bitch, but it's fine.
True. Yeah,
Well, it's almost like Volka sees it as escape, and he's like,
right.
yeah.
Taking on
He
her
does
sense
kind
of
of.
justice.
I feel like in this book, he kind of nods to how terrible it, like you brought up, Josh. It was as
Yeah.
when he was in the same situation, but also not knowing if she'd just get away with it or not.
Hmm.
Might as
Yeah.
well cut off the snake at the head.
Especially considering all the Cleopatra imagery of this novel, right? I mean, between all the dresses and then even the new cover and things like that we've discussed. Like, there's a lot of Cleopatra snakish imagery. So clean it off.
I mean, there's a straight up bone snake. And
Very
there's a
true.
bunch of
Yeah.
lawn
Mjolnir.
snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a snaky book.
Yep. Yeah, man. That's the end of the story, I think, by and large, unless you guys have other details they want to talk about throughout the end.
I mean, I think that if anything, I'd love to jump back to like, and I don't really have a lot to say about it, but I do think that maybe for me, one of the strongest written scenes in this book is just kind of that moment where Hadrian's like has to tell her what her fate's going to be.
When she's like in the cell barefoot.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a very good
Mhm.
character moment, and it's a very good moment between two characters, and it feels
Tense.
more like
Yeah.
Howling Dark than it does Empire of Silence, whereas most of this feels like Empire of Silence to me. Like, as far as
Sure.
like how it's written in quality and feel.
Mhm.
That moment in there, I don't know, that was very evocative to me. Like,
It's
I
got an
thought that was
intensity to
actually
it.
like
Yeah.
very good. I felt what the characters were feeling. I was in the story. Whereas a lot of the rest of this is like, yeah, this implies something for the story I'm going to read later, or like, hey, this builds the world. Whereas that was just like, I'm here with two characters.
Mhm.
Very much so in the same way back in like Lesser Devil, I started to really feel that way whenever it was just like Crispin and one of the Catholics, I forget his name, just kind of existing, talking about
Jean
stuff.
Valjean,
And-
whatever.
yeah. This kind of had that moment where it's just like, we're just like existing, talking about the reality of our situation. And it did stand out to me. And I liked that like jail cell scene a lot.
Mhm. It gave her a little more depth,
I
like
agree.
seeing her fear,
Seeing her realize that she's
having
been found
human
out,
emotions. Yeah.
still trying to figure it out, seeing her find out what's going to happen to her, seeing her accept it. Like,
Yeah, because so much of the story is spent with her like denying reality, right? And her
kinda
like
being
being
haughty,
willing to
like,
like
yeah.
dance
yeah,
around it.
that moment when I don't know how old she is, but I assume more than a century. That moment when we realize, like, oh no, it's coming to an end. I actually did fuck up. That was the wrong decision. And maybe she still is trying to like get her way out, as we see, but like, damn, like it's kind of like a riveting moment of like acceptance of your own mistakes. So
I don't want to get into too much of a spoiler conversation in this direction, but I do want to mention it. I compare Malian to Atlantia
very
immediately.
much so, yeah.
The difference is actually, I feel like I know and feel more from Malian's perspective than I do Atalantia in the entirety of the later books. And I feel like I should be feeling the way that I do in the small novel. Like I should have that sort of like bitter taste for her over the course of the rest of the story, but it's all implied in the later
Well, I mean,
books. We don't need to get into too deep of spoilers, but
Malian at never point like
Yeah.
also looked at someone looking at them through binoculars and then jacked off at them. I think that's
a little different. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
I just think about that a lot as far as a comparison angle goes. Like
Yeah.
I think that like they occupy similar places in similar stories. And I just kind of this also like begs me to go like, I want more out of that seventh book, Pierce. Like give it to me.
Yeah.
And this is a complete story in and of itself in the same realm. So with a similar type of character.
Mhm.
So
Except she's not as good of a fighter.
No, very
But
true.
still
Yeah.
snakes.
Still
I think
snakes.
the final thoughts for me on this story is Malian. Malian?
Malian.
Sounds
Yep.
right.
Mhm.
Malian. Every time I say Malian, it feels wrong because it's too close to Balian.
I keep thinking Balian Mataro every time I can say it. So.
Right,
no.
like he just kind of switched some words, a couple letters. Malian did bad, wrong, deserved it. Malian didn't know what to do, did her best.
Emperor's far away.
Emperor's far away. Malian, titties.
And that's the story. That's it.
And that's
Is that not the story in reverse?
Pretty much. I mean, pretty much.
Cielson, bad, scary snakes.
Cielson, bad, scary
Evil.
snakes. Yeah.
Cannibal.
Evil, cannibal.
Are you a cannibal
Gotta
if you're
eat.
eating different meat than
You know,
yourself?
so I want to bring this up.
Not cannibal, just eating. Look, here's the thing.
I
Gotta
did-
steal to eat, gotta eat to live, otherwise we get along. Gotta eat humans, gotta eat to live, otherwise we get along. They're just Aladdin.
I love that you're bringing that up because I did actually make this note earlier. There's a word that's used, I think, only in the newer edition of the text, which is he brings up Crispin's perspective on this whole thing, being like, "Hey, are they cannibals?" And then the response is like, "Obviously not. They eat humans, and like that's separate. Cannibalism is eating each other." The term, I believe, is anthropophagia. Anthropophagia.
Don't do this. Don't come in here with your words. I'm gonna have to make fun of you about.
But what he says is anthropophagia, and that's what it means to like eat something as anthropomorphic or like anthropomorphizing something.
Like eating a dolphin.
Yes, right. Yep.
I mean,
Because they're smart.
I'd eat
That's the term. Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting. It was just the term that he uses in the text. So
I'd probably eat a person under the right circumstances. It's fine.
You steal
there's
and you eat people.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two things you know about. And I play the drums.
You play the
done 2 episodes, and that's all Aaron's learned about Josh.
He steals, he eats people, and he plays the drums.
Yeah.
Good resume.
Well,
what's the worst one?
Emperor is far away.
the drums. The Emperor is far away.
The drums, yeah, for sure.
The Emperor is far away. Heaven is high, and so is Josh. So that said, I'm just kidding.
I've never stolen. I've never eaten
think-
people, and I've never played the drums. One of these is a lie.
This him beheading.
beheading.
I had a weird accent.
Beheading.
Beheading Malian. I sound like Joffrey. Was like Hadrian kind of taking a step into his father's shoes, like taking responsibility of the city like he would have had to do. I think doesn't he even say he thinks of his father and
He does a couple of times.
There's a lot of moments in the back half of this where he embodies his father and thinks of him. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that that's actually a really great point because that's one of the reasons why I think that this story is a better guide into the new Hadrian as we move into the next story, because we see Hadrian become more like Alistair Marlowe.
Yeah. And we'll see what that pays off and leads into next week as we begin Demon in White. Anything else that we want to say on the story?
It's a great, quick one-day read.
It's a quick read. I mean, that's like the highlight is it's a great little story that you can sink your teeth into in a day. That's awesome.
At this point, I'm not convinced that all the standalones and all the novellas couldn't just be read without any of the main story and just be like pretty good.
I would agree.
Out of context, I think you could just jump in and read the weird
Just get
ones.
a cute little story.
I disagree with the third one, but that's it. The third novella I think is different, but we'll chat about that.
Well,
when
I
we get
haven't
there.
read that, Cross. So
Thanks for bringing it up.
fuck off.
What's fun is, Erin, that is the one because it's a book. It's 300 fucking pages. We're gonna split that one into 2 episodes. So we're gonna do the first half and the back half. So we're gonna do it old style, Erin.
In
Unfortunately,
January.
Can I throw
in
like
March. Yeah,
Can I throw a really quick thought I had while
Yeah.
rereading
hit me.
this novella? If I were to adapt this series as
Yeah.
a whole, I think the novellas should just be part of the seasons
Absolutely,
in a lot of ways.
Absolutely,
But also, you should start at Howling Dark. Hear me out. Because this isn't a linear story. All of fucking Empire of Silence feels like flashbacks anyways. I know people have feelings about flashbacks. If you were ever going to do flashbacks, it should be in a non-linear series like this. Imagine you just start at Howling Dark, and all of Empire of Silence is slowly parsed out throughout all 7 seasons.
As flashback.
I would
As
agree,
flashbacks.
except I would say that the first third of the first novel should be the beginning of the story, and then you cut to Howling Dark, and then you start doing
But
flashbacks.
that's one big flashback.
I don't know. I think you can get through a lot of that first third in the first 3 episodes.
Sure.
I ran away from being a
And then you can start
gladiator.
expanding. I love the idea of the first thing you see is the Red Company hitting that fucking mission at the beginning of Howling Dark before anything, before any context. And then you just watch, what's his name? Who dies? The big guy.
Oh, Gen. Yeah.
You the opening sequence of the first episode goes up to Gen's death.
Fuck, that's actually a good idea.
Then check this out.
That's fucked
You
up.
go
I
into
hate that you've
the
got a good
title
idea.
sequence. The title sequence is next. The title sequence is unique per episode, and it's Hadrian. It's the only time we get future Hadrian, but we get it every episode in the title sequence. It's Hadrian doing a monologue that's different every episode from the future, writing it down over the theme song. That's the same. The song's the same, but the monologue's different.
You're so
and then
right.
we get 2 flashback. We always go intro, monologue, flashback, and then we do an episode. And we go up to the first season is Howling Dark, and at the end of Howling Dark, at the end of Howling Dark is whenever we get to the end of Howling Dark, and the penultimate episode of Howling Dark, by the way, is Lesser Devil as one episode.
Mm-hmm.
And the flashback we get right before that, episode 8's flashback is the Crispin beatdown
is
episode.
when Hadrian beats,
and then we get
the
Crispin's bottle episode with Lesser Devil, and then we get the finale of Howling Dark. And the last flashback that we get is him getting on the ship and going. And then the tag of season 1 is the end of Howling Dark, and the flashback tag is him waking up on the streets. All of Demon in White is him elevated to the highest status he's ever had up to this point, and him flashback lowest status he's ever had as a fucking street urchin.
You can tell more of the story that way. That's interesting.
Yeah, and it gets all the way up to the flashbacks. I don't know where Demon in White goes, but the flashbacks of Demon in White would go all the way up to whenever he becomes a Myrmidon. And I assume, based on what I know, that at the end of Demon in White, he'll become this, this military force to be reckoned with, this legend of just success of combat. And that would kind of mirror what we see with his Myrmidon journey. And I don't know where it goes after that, but then the next journey we'd see in the flashback would be his time at court. And then the season after that would be the stuff with or that would probably go up to through the duel, and then the next stuff we'd see is at Caliga, and the next stuff we would the last season would be Shadows Upon Time, or not Shadows Upon Time. That'd probably be its own thing because I don't know how that works. But the one before that would be him as a torturer, and then Shadows Upon Time would just be its own season.
I love this idea. Almost deserves its own episode just to chat about this adaptation idea because there's.
But I feel like I got to read more of the books before I can really say it's the right idea. But hear me out. You can't.
That's
do
crazy.
The non-linear.
Crazy.
You can't do the non-linear writing on film the same way. So this would be a way to bring it in the non-linear. Yeah. That's all. That's a thought I had while listening to this, and I think it deserves to be said during Queen of Mid-Ashes because I thought of it while listening to Queen of Mid-Ashes.
I think that's also why he's proposed he doesn't believe that live action will ever work for Suneater, and he's just been outright. He's go animated to begin with. He's just start there because that's the only way. Yeah, you could totally
go animated and do that.
Yeah, you could also do flashback arcs, mini arcs, a 3-episode thing. Depending on
for sure
the style.
But I like my idea.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I'm totally in.
We'll buy the rights.
Hell yeah. Erin, anything else that you want to say before we see you again next spring? Oh, God.
Spring.
Yeah.
Nothing from me. Thanks so much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Wait, literally next spring? That's the next one?
Yeah, it's between book 5 and book 6, so it's a bit. Yeah.
He's got to give me time to read all the other ones.
Yeah.
And for
Look,
you guys to talk about them all.
We gotta do it, chapter by chapter, and I've got all that laid out. So motherfuck, we don't finish the series, Josh, until
He's
March
like, I didn't know what I
of
signed up for.
2027.
That's not even a real month.
Yeah, you're telling me. I just looked at the calendar and did the math. So no, sorry.
Nice.
Wait.
We'll
We're in
see you
2026. Sorry. Yeah, March 2028. Yeah. Sick.
Oh shit, that's
Cool.
crazy.
Yeah, I think.
The
right?
world won't exist.
No.
by that point.
The end of 2027. That's it.
I feel like I could do this
Sick.
faster than that.
Dope,
Let's go faster.
dope. No. We're there. We start Ashes of Man December of this year. We finish that. We do Disquiet. We finish. Yeah. We're done before 2028.
Hey, I got 4 days off for Juneteenth because I took one extra. I'll just
We
finish
can
it.
hammer through some Demon in White.
I'll just finish it.
Yeah.
All of it. No, not Demon in White. All of it.
All of it. Good fucking luck, man. I mean, although
Yeah,
PJ
no, it's
did
too
do the
much.
whole series in a month and a half, so
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit.
dude.
PJ
So
better than me for real.
PJ can read fast if you're not holding him back.
No, well, finally,
always
PJ
you.
could not read fast before. Now he's like, hell yeah. He's like, unleash me on a thing. I'll do it.
He's like, I have a baby. I want to sit and read.
Yeah, right. He's like, I will
Okay.
do whatever it takes.
Cross, I had an idea.
Oh,
And Aaron,
All
you
right.
can be in this too. Aaron, you ever read The Wheel of Time?
Yes.
Do you like it?
Wait, which one's that? Yes.
Okay.
I think maybe, did I just watch the show?
The show was
good.
The show was not the books, but the
But
show
it's
was good.
I think I just wrote saw the show.
Just
I
watch
don't
the
think I
show.
read it.
The show's great.
great.
Honestly, they did very good with the
Limitations
with
presented.
the limitations, and I thought that the arc with the Sanchin and
Sean
Egwin's
Chan.
whole and Shanshan, Egwin's whole situation, very well
Yeah.
done.
Mhm.
I
Very
like
good.
that main actress. She's cool.
They fucking killed it in a lot of ways.
Now, where are we
They did
going
what
with
they did.
this, Josh?
Oh yeah.
Okay, Crossland, hear me out. You know how this podcast is you having read books
Yes,
and your co-host having not.
correct.
Can we just sprinkle in one book at a time? Just one episode per book. We make PJ read Wheel of Time.
So actually, that's a great fucking idea.
Because I've been wanting to reread them
Hang on,
so bad.
Hang on, that's such a good idea. He'd do it,
We don't have to do like the
and
whole
I think
breakdown.
Aaron would do some in
Yeah.
Nola.
sounds like
Yeah.
I need to read him too.
And also, I'm sure Ben would, because Ben's been enjoying joining
Like,
us for the
yeah,
Stephen
can we
King
just-
episodes. Yeah,
Me and you, two people who've read all of the Wheel of Time, except for me, who hasn't read the last book.
that'd be fun.
Could we just sprinkle in one episode at a time, like an Eye of the World episode, and then
a
Great Hunt episode,
Yeah.
and then
Dragon Reborn.
Shadow. Fuck,
14 books.
this is crazy.
Shadows Rising. Is that what you're
Shadow
thinking?
Rising.
Yeah.
Shadow Rising. That's crazy with
Yeah.
what I was about to say. Shadow Rising is my favorite book, and I don't think I've ever read my favorite book from that series, and one of my favorite books of all time. And I don't think I've ever read any singular book more than that. I think I've read Shadow Rising 6 or 7 times.
Wow.
I like that book a lot.
Aaron, how far have you read?
None.
No, I think
Watch
I
the
only
show.
watched the show. Yeah. I was
Okay,
like, why
cool.
does it sound familiar to me? I Googled it. I watched the show for sure.
Sick.
Read the
So-
books; they're so different.
we're gonna bully this into being a communal show. We'll figure it out. And we'll do
Okay.
the thing. We'll
Yeah.
do-
First book
Sorry,
written
that
in
was just-
1990. I missed it.
That was just my little pitch. I wasn't even born yet. I figured it out.
Yeah, me neither. But again,
I was only like 3. Shut up.
we love you. It's fine.
Oh, you 80s over here,
She's a millennial.
Yeah.
We love her.
born in
Yeah.
the 80s. Oh, what? You had more time before the economy tanked? Ooh.
Oh, I forgot to buy a house back then.
yeah. I didn't have a choice. I was 5. You were 8. You should have done it.
You should have done something about that. You weren't
Damn
investing
it.
in your 401k at 8? Come on.
Come on. If I was
not
8, I'd
not
have
till
done
my
it.
30s.
Yeah, exactly.
Way too
Right.
late at that point. Way
Yes.
too late.
We're all fucked.
Anyways,
Um,
next week
yeah.
on Words and Whiskey, the
We
Wheel
are-
of Time.
I love the
full
idea.
series.
I love the idea of doing maybe like a bi-monthly episode of the Wheel of Time, or like a,
If
you know,
that,
every other month.
yeah, like
Every
2
other
a
month.
year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
I'm into
Every
it.
other month's great,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I could rock through one of those. I've read most of them multiple times.
Yeah,
so.
they're all acceptable. They're all easy. It's good reading. That said, next week on Words and Whiskey, to Erin's point, we're going to be reading Demon in White. We're beginning it. We're reading Behold a Pale Horse through the Devil's Cohort, because we're all pointing at the screen. It's the first 9-ish chapters, so it's a very fun read. It's exceptional. Josh and I were supposed to record it on Friday, except for he was sick. And so instead I went to No Doubt because that was fun.
Sorry,
In
I'm
the
not
fucking
coming
dome.
out.
I know.
How was it?
Walking in my spider webs. Oh my
So,
God, it was so
Cross,
good.
You'll love this.
You have 8 words.
John and I went out on Saturday, and you had gone. I said Cross went to No Doubt, and then I put on No Doubt, and then I knew all of the words to all of the first like 10 songs. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know I knew all these songs.
Man.
I feel like it's No Doubt and Incubus, the 2 bands. You're like, I know one of their songs, and you
You're like,
listen
I
to
know
them.
all
You're
of
like,
them.
so
I know
many
all
more.
of their
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
All the
Holy
words.
Oh, and of course, fucking. Oh no, Leslie.
Creed?
What's the artist you're super attracted to with all the hits?
I hope it's not Creed.
Lenny Kravitz, that's the one.
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz. You're always like,
Sure.
I know 2 Lenny Kravitz songs, and then you put
Yeah.
on Lenny Kravitz greatest hits, and you're like, I know 8.
I'm gonna try
every
that because I also
Lenny
don't
Kravitz
think I
song.
know any.
Shockingly,
Do you know,
I agree on the
want to
Incubus.
get away.
Yeah,
Do you know that song?
Yeah.
What about American Woman?
I do know those.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, so it
Yeah,
just
you know
keeps
'em
going.
all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And so I'm glad that you had the same experience. You had a similar experience after seeing me go out to see No Doubt. It was a great time. Recommend listening widely to whatever you can. I love that you called out Incubus, by the way, because like Coheed and Cambria opened.
What else would you call Incubus?
Well, I was just saying Coheed and Cambria opened up for Incubus. I was like, we'll see Incubus. And then we saw them and we're like, actually, Incubus is sick as fuck. Like,
Dude,
what
Incubus
the
is
hell?
so good.
Yeah.
Like,
In high
like
school,
you
I
get distracted by
crowd
all the
surfed to
wicked
Incubus.
wicka wickas,
Yeah.
but like they're very good outside of that.
Yeah, it's so good. So sick.
Yeah, it's a lot of record scratching, but everything that's not the record scratching rocks.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So, again, a reminder, Behold the Pale Horse through the Devil's Cohort. Thank you, Erin, for guest hosting.
You're
with
welcome.
us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll have you back. If not, maybe as an interim guest in one of the middle books. We'll see if you want to come
Let's get
back
silly.
to do a wrap up.
Interim
maybe
guest for a
Ashes
middle
Man.
book, and
We'll
maybe
see.
in a couple months on probably Dragon Reborn, I would guess.
Yeah,
right?
or whichever ones we do. I'm very excited. We'll figure out where we start there.
No, I'm locking her in for Dragon Reborn. We'll have time
Well,
to get
no,
read it.
we'll have them all, Josh. That's what you're missing. We'll do PJ, we'll do Ben, and we'll do Erin. Maybe.
I
not
think
Ben,
it's
who
so
knows, but
fun.
yeah.
I think
It'd
it's
be a
so
very
fun
fun
to
time.
just get a bunch of people to read it and have one person at a time.
I think Erin
Love
would
it.
have a great time. I think Ben would clock out at a certain point, but that's just my opinion.
He's probably
Okay,
read them all. Who
how
knows?
far do you actually think you?
I think Ben's read through book 8, if I remember.
All right,
correctly.
Aaron, we should probably
Yeah.
have you for Eye of the World. I don't know if we're going to
Yeah.
keep you around after that.
No.
Not because you don't want to be
No,
there. I
Erin
just don't know
will
if you're
read
going to
it.
keep reading.
Erin will read it. Erin likes
I'm
the same
scared.
kind of shit that I like generally. Like we trade referrals often on books.
Mostly you
All
just
right,
tell
cool.
me what to read and I read it.
Hey, check out
Thanks
the
for
Wheel of
saying we
Time.
Very
Trade.
glad. Yeah,
It sucks in the
give me a
best
rec.
way.
All
So,
right.
That said, thanks for listening to this week's podcast. You can find us on social media, Words and Whiskey Pod on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads predominantly. If you'd like to reach out to us directly, feel free to shoot us an email at wordsandwhiskeyshow.com as these gang signs go on in the background. You can also find us on patreon.com/words and whiskey. Support our show, Howler Pod, and the other associated shows, including the little beanie baby that's dancing on the
This
screen
is
right
a
now.
beanie baby with a plastic cover over the
An
top.
old
Yeah,
school.
so you can
Yeah.
resell that shit. Yeah, it's worth so much money.
Important.
Chetney, where's my dog? Get over here.
Leave us a review.
5 stars only. If you don't give us 5 stars only, we'll feed you to the evil snake named Moo 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 Moo. What's his name?
Look,
No, it is moo 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 moo. That's the name.
we'll feed you to the evil snake. Moo 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 moo.
Moo Moo Moo.
Phenomena.
Yeah.
Phenomena.
I like it. Phenomena.
So with that,
Can I actually reframe how I wanted this live action to go?
sure.
It's exactly what I just said structurally, but it's Muppets. With that, dear listener.
There are endings, and this is one.
Cool.
Rad.
Dope.